I'll call the meeting to order. Are we posted properly?
We have been posted according to open meetings law.
Roll call, please.
President Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Harding. Here. Trustee Holm.
Here.
Trustee Moody.
Here.
Trustee Nugent. Here. Trustee Seeger is excused. Trustee Wisniewski.
Here.
Thank you. All right, we're not going to do citizen participation because I got two people who are shaking their head no, so I won't read that. We'll do consent agenda, very long consent agenda. One motion and a second will approve all the following items. Any item may be pulled from the list and voted on separately.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Any questions or discussion on those items? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, I'm going to skip down to ordinances, resolutions. Kayla from Ellers is here. We're going to, just so we don't have to keep her. Item 3, Resolution 2025-12, consideration and possible action on a resolution approving an amendment to the project plan and boundaries of TID 4, Tax Increment District 4. This, you got the memo there from Eileen. This was reviewed and approved at Joint Review Board last Monday and the Plan Commission last Monday. And I think we've talked about this at length. So, Kayla, I don't know if you had a presentation you wanted to go through, or is this pretty much the same as what we should all know?
It's the exact same. I just wanted to point out that we did incorporate comments from the county that they requested at the initial Joint Review Board meeting, and that was in the version that was distributed to you for this meeting. And it's just a boundary amendment to bring in some parcels that are being targeted for redevelopment, and then adding project costs related to developing those, a stormwater retention basin that needs to be brought up to today's standards, and then I think an allocation for a booster pump station to service this area as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'm sure Administrator Eileen is as well.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-12.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All right, questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Kayla. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Short and sweet. All right, we will jump.
Short and sweet, but a lot of work went into that.
Well, exactly. That's because it's great work.
It is.
That right there is proof of the great work.
Yes, I appreciate all of that.
Unfortunately, we have another meeting that has to be done, Joint Review Board on October 7th. So it is a rather lengthy process. Miscellaneous business, item 1, consider setting the charge for the 2025 tax bills associated with garbage and recycling pickup, as well as a weekly option for recycling pickup. And Eileen did send this out to us ahead of time in case there was any discussion from constituents.
Yeah, so this is an annual thing for our newest members. We annually set that charge that goes on the tax bill. It's based on the rate increase by Johns. They are allowed a certain amount of increase linked to CPI, Midwest each year, and that contract that we currently have expires at the end of 2027. So this year, they did give us an additional option to consider, which would be going to the weekly recycling pickup rather than bi-weekly. The weekly pickup is $27.84 more than the bi-weekly pickup. Anybody have questions on that?
For what it's worth, folks in my neighborhood did not need the weekly pickup for recycling. Good with bi-weekly.
I had similar feedback, too.
Yeah, same here.
I'll make it unanimous.
I guess I'm in the minority. Okay, that's okay. That's why we ask. Okay, so they're not in favor of the extra $27. That's a year too. That's not a.
Right.
So okay, all right.
Maybe during like Christmas time. I could always use a couple more.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can say just during Christmas.
Yeah, there's a lot of boxes that get staged in my garage at that time, so.
We just have to learn how to break them down. Just don't throw the whole box in there.
Okay, setting aside, though, the weekly option, any questions or concerns about I think this is just a standard annual increase piece, and this is a fee, this is not in the tax levy, it's a fee on the bill.
So do we need a motion then?
Correct. We would need a motion to set the charge for the 2025 tax bill at $209.92.
I'll make a motion to approve the 209.92 for garbage and recycling for 2026.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
I'm just going to clarify that's for the 2025 tax bills payable in 2026.
Correct.
Yes.
All right, any questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item 2, consider purchase of sewer jetter truck. Jason?
Okay, first I want to apologize. I made mention in my memo about the proposal for the truck, and I omitted to add that to the packet. So I had printed one out for everyone. It's what you have in front of you. It's the proposal that I'm recommending we approve this evening. So the sewer jetter, just to kind of recap, is a giant pressure washer that we send down the sanitary and storm sewers to clean any obstructions and just general maintenance. And the unit we have currently is a trailer-mounted unit from 1999. It's time to upgrade, and we're looking to upgrade to a piece of equipment that's a little more versatile, way more versatile, and will do more than just clean sewers. Currently, we don't have the ability to vac debris out of the sewers. We just pressure wash it and send it down to the next manhole. And with this new piece of equipment, what we would do is we would clean a few sections, and then we would vac that debris, grit, whatever it happens to be, out with this truck instead of sending it down the line, hoping it doesn't create any issues downstream. And then secondly, or thirdly, actually, it's got the ability to be a hydro excavator. And what that is it's a process where you blast water into the ground, and then it vacs it out at the same time. It's a less intrusive way to excavate. You would use it a lot of times for locating utilities before you went in with a backhoe bucket, that sort of thing. It's a newer technology, relatively newer technology that we can't do today. So this truck does all three of those things. It cleans, it vacs, and then it would be a hydro excavator as well. We did try out multiple trucks, decided that this is really the truck or the brand that fit for us. And it fits in our shop, which is a plus. Derek was actually going to present on this for you guys tonight, but he is not feeling well, so he didn't come in today. Any questions about that?
And it came in under bid, under the amount of money that was allocated.
Yeah, so initially, I received 3 bids. 2 on this truck and then 1 on another one. And I think the high bid was like $415. This truck originally came in at like $412. And then the dealer had reached out to me and said, hey, we have this demo truck that you might be interested in. It's got 100 hours. I think it was a 2024 for like $385,000, I believe is what they wanted. And I said, yes, we are interested. But unfortunately, before he even offered it to us, it was already sold. So he came back to me, and I wasn't super happy about that because I thought that was going to be the deal for us. But then he came back, they sharpened their pencil, and they came back with what I feel is a really good price on a brand new unit with full warranty. And if we decide to approve this tonight, we would order the chassis. The chassis would be built sometime in November to get ahead of a price increase for 26. And then it would be delivered to the Vactor factory. They would build it, and we would receive it in May or June of 2026.
What's the expected life of something like this?
So our current one is 1999, so we got 25 years. I would easily expect 25 years out of this. I would say 25 to 30 years. What likely could happen is if the village continues to grow at the pace we are, we may need to upsize at some point rather than, replacing it because it's worn out. So, but that's going to be some time. Like I said, this fits in our existing public workshop. The full size, this is a 3-yard truck, and they build a 3, 6, 9, and 12 yard. So they obviously get bigger into a tandem axle chassis, but one of those wouldn't even fit in our shop. So this is the right size for us today.
I see that you're looking at auctioning the other one online.
Yeah, so they provided us a trade-in value, which I didn't feel was very good. I looked, I found a few online, and ours is in really good shape, so I feel like we can get more for it than that. And potentially, too, that the town of East Troy Sanitary District has shown some interest in it, so we may, be able to figure something out there when the time comes. Obviously, we still need this one until May or June, until we get our new unit, but we'll just have to see where that goes, but I think we can get more than $4,000 for it.
Were there any talk about tariffs that might impact this, even after the $399? So we got a bid for $399, but would we be affected at all by any tariffs?
No, that actually never came up in the conversation, and my understanding is if we approve it and sign, we can lock that price in now, and that's good until delivery in May or June of 2026.
Okay, yeah, that's something I definitely look at in the agreement, because the government has expanded the steel derivatives and aluminum derivatives, so a lot of that is 50%, and on the aluminum, it's up to 200%. So most of your screws and fasteners are going to be from China, so.
And if we do approve it tonight, I can make sure that I've got that in an email prior to, to approval, that tariffs won't affect this price going forward.
Yeah, we definitely need to have that.
Other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve spending, that's hard to say, that much money. $399,564 for the Vector truck.
Second.
All right, questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 3, consider purchase of boom mower. Jason, back to you.
Okay, so the town of East Troy and the town of Troy had originally purchased this unit back in, I think it was 2002. They primarily used it for roadside cleanup. And many times over the years, we have called them up and said, hey, can you come and, when you have your boom mower on, can you come over here and do this or do that? And they've always done it for us. So when the opportunity came up, they purchased a new one. And they're offering up us what I feel is a fair price on their used unit. We did take delivery of it a few weeks ago and put it on our tractor. The picture shown is on our tractor. And it works great. It's just the right size for our tractor. And I think this is one of those things that we'll find a lot of uses for once we have one. And I do think that potentially someday down the road, we'll be coming back and asking for a new one. I typically wouldn't come and ask for used equipment, but I think in this case, it makes sense. Again, I think they're offering it up for a fair price to us, and we've run it for a period of time. It works well on our tractor, and it seems to have a little bit of life left in it. So I think we could do okay, and there's very little risk if we were to purchase this.
Purchase it from some unused funds, correct?
That's correct. Surplus from the St. Peter's Road project.
Make a motion to approve the boom mower for $7,000.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? I just really appreciate the continued cooperation and partnership with with our DPW colleagues there.
Yeah, initially when they said they were talking about a new one, I said, oh, we want in on that. But unfortunately, their farm tractors are one size bigger than ours, so it's a different piece of equipment. And we can't go bigger because we also use this tractor to do snow removal on the square. So this just works for us.
All right, questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As long as he's okay with it.
All right. Item 4, consider recommendation from Community Development Authority to CDA to contract with A5 Branding and Digital. Here's the memo from Eileen. We're looking at a marketing firm, and this would be paid out of funds already allocated to the CDA. Jim and I can answer any questions you got.
You know, just to build on that, the CDA has been working on ways to promote the village, doing facade grants for the last several years. I think we all see the benefit as you drive around the square and what's happened as a result of that. Looking for the next step, what are other opportunities to promote East Troy? This marketing idea was something that was showing up multiple times on our to-do list, things to continue to promote East Troy. It was decided that instead of having or trying to do that internally, it would make sense to hire somebody professionally that could come in and help build a marketing plan, what we need, target the individuals that we want to reach out to. This is both in terms of visitors to the village, from the railroad, from the airport, but also, and even more importantly, I think, the development. We just approved the expansion of TID 4. Now we're going to have to find organizations, businesses that are interested in moving to East Troy to build, live, and work here. And that's part of the reason behind the marketing initiative.
I think this is a great opportunity to grow the economy of East Troy. We spoke with it about this earlier, as far as being in, not necessarily in conjunction with the chamber, but just sort of using the chamber to attract possible businesses to the area of ways you can, of benefits to being in East Troy. And I think that, I just lost my train of thought, but I think we have people coming to East Troy, spending money at the businesses, eating here, going to First Fridays, and now potentially bringing businesses and people who will move here for the businesses is a great opportunity and a great use of the money for the firm.
Yeah, we've talked about TID 4, obviously, to Jim's point, we just expanded those boundaries. We'll be talking more about TID 4 later in closed session. TID 5 is up and going. There are vacant properties in TID 5, right? And then we've talked about possibly a TID 6, the brownfield, the Trent Tube site, and needing to attract different developers. You know, we know that housing developments aren't happening without TID assistance. So, and that's, you know, we think about school funding, more kids in the schools, more funding for the schools, right? So one of the things that the CDA focused on when we had proposals is a firm that wasn't just focused on a tourism marketing, and kind of to Dan's point, you know, that's really more of what the chamber's kind of tasked with the room tax that we give them. And this is not like a recurring item. This is, in essence, laying that foundation, as Jim said, of what's that plan. For those of you who were on the board a number of years ago when we hired Grafe for development, I think that I kind of look at this as something similar. Gives us a foundation, but not something that you know, and we may go back to them at some point in the future and say, hey, we want to tweak this or update this. But you know, there's some things in here. The reason why we're asking to go to the $40,000 one, but have the ability to go to the $50,000 is we talked about the idea of microsites. So something that is off of the village website, so it doesn't have the air of it being government, right? But it's a promotional thing. So imagine you had a microsite for the TIDS, and it was focused on what that was and how to get incentive and what's great about the community and all of those things. But it has its own distinct branding and look that is complementary to what we already do and what the chamber already does, but it's its own thing. So those are the types of things we'd be looking at, and I think you've got a timeline in here. It's middle of September, but roughly a 6-month type thing with staff.
So looking at the schedule here, February is the launch. Is that the best time of the year to launch? I'm not really familiar what's the best time to do it, but it looks like they have ongoing support for 6 months or so.
Yeah, the launch is more about research, developing a marketing plan, as opposed to actually promoting East Troy.
But one of the things we talked about, it was like, so how do we get engaged with like the Wisconsin Manufacturers Association, right? So that we get our information about the village in their publications, right? And so, let's say they've got, to your point, they've got a big trade show or something in June. What do we need to do to have that and get that in there, that sort of thing?
So the recommendation is option A?
It's option A with the ability with CDA approval to go to option B if in the middle of it. It's kind of, and think about like what they've got bulleted there. It's really an ad hoc. So each of options A, B, and C are really 1 and 2 there, the research, the marketing plan, and the creative, and the campaign creative concept. That's 27.5. Okay, so then the question is it another, 12.5 or 22.5 for kind of the a la carte? And we'll determine what that is based upon, as they do more of that research that Jim was talking about.
Yeah, I see Plan B has poster, brochure, merchandise, news release. Okay. One other item, TBD. What's that one?
Yeah, so again, so we're not locked into these. It's, like I mentioned, if you look over on the option C, there's microsite. So we might say, like I brought up, merchandise. I'm not looking for us to be hawking merch, right? But if we wanted to not do that and do the microsite, then we could do that, right? So, and we talked at length with them about that the other night.
I think if you look at it as option A, it's the 40,000. The other 10,000 is to be determined later. Understand that the microsite is 10,000, so that's probably where we would be looking.
Make a motion to approve A5 branding and digital proposal, option B, for maximum of up to $50,000.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. On to ordinance and resolutions again. Item 1, ordinance 2025-06, amend Article 2 of Chapter 470 pertaining to recycling. So this is in order to meet the DNR's recycling grant program. Any questions here about Eileen's memo?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-06.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, Resolution 2025-11, Functional Classification System for Urban Boundary Area. Eileen, do you want to talk through this? Because I know we gave a heads up to the towns on this too.
Yeah, so previously, the board, in April of 2024, the board was asked to approve a resolution that was an update to the urban boundary area. Prior to this update, the urban boundary area included McWanago and East Troy, so we are all one urban boundary area. And in their update, they found that the area was large enough now that they wanted to break McWanago and East Troy apart. So that was accomplished by approving that resolution. So the next step was the actual functional classification updates of the roads. So we received those from the state. Really, the changes in the inside the village are not significant. I did send an email to the town clerks advising them of these changes and asking them to either reach out to me or have their chairperson reach out to President Johnson if they had concerns. We haven't heard anything to date. Matt, you haven't heard anything, correct? And Jason and I had met with the representatives from the state. Jason had clarified that it does not impact any of the local road improvement program funding, which was probably most concerning because the most frequently used form of funding that we use for our road projects. There's one state transportation program funding that it does affect, because anything that's collected, is classified, I should say, lower than a collector street is then not eligible for those funds. I am not aware that we've utilized those funds, at least in my time with the village. Jason, are you? Yeah, so it's not something we utilize. We had two streets that were classified lower than a collector level, but the mileage was very insignificant. I think one was like a quarter mile and one was like 0.03, but it's on the chart, so I probably, instead of guessing, should go to the chart and tell you actuals. But I guess the gist of it is I don't find it overly concerning. Yeah, one was a quarter mile and one was 0.03 of a mile within the village. So the state is just asking for the village to approve that resolution. It doesn't get sent to the towns. Only cities and villages approve these functional classification resolutions.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-12. No, I'm sorry, 11, right? The functional classification, 2025-11. Sorry, I jumped.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We've already approved 12. Yeah, we're good on that one. All right, item 4, Resolution 2025-14, approval of and authorize the village's participation in the Purdue Direct Opioid Settlement. And this is something that the board, for our new members, may not be fully aware of this background. So maybe, Eileen, if you could give us just the short version.
Essentially, there's a class action suit against the opioid manufacturers because of the significant costs it has, expense, I should say, is affected on municipalities. So we could either opt in or opt out if we wanted to just do a separate claim. The village has chosen to opt into the class action suit, so our attorneys do review this communication as it does come in. They're recommending adoption of the resolution if we wish to continue to participate in that settlement class.
When is that expected to be done, like, for money to start showing up? Because I know we had this discussion about the PFAS version of this.
I really can't even answer that. I can get an update from our attorney and ask, but yeah, this seems like this has been going on for a long time, and of course, there's restructuring because there's bankruptcy claims, and so it is going on for a very long time.
And because I'm not close enough, like I know for Milwaukee County, they have received opioid funds. And so I don't know if that's in regards to this or some other legal action. So that's why I'm asking.
If we receive money, would that go into general operating funds? Or do we have to target toward anything specific?
I'm not aware that it will be restricted at all. I think it will be at the board's discretion, but I will ask these two questions of our attorney and do a staff report for the next meeting, so I can give you guys answers on these.
All right, I'll move approval of Resolution 2025-14.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, staff reports. Item 1, municipal court for July 2025. This is a corrected report. And then item 2 is municipal court for August 2025. Any questions on those? All right. Item 3, airport third quarter report. Doug, anything you would care to highlight for us?
Hello. Just a couple things. Just wanted to, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the back for the fuel sales of the fly-in. I ran a comparison from last year to this year, and we were less this year. Hard to say why, but we were constantly busy with planes coming in there, but for whatever reason, the numbers were a little less this year as far as the gallons sold. As far as year-to-date, compared to last year to this year, again, we are down a little bit. We had a slow spring this year. I'm kind of contributing that with it being a cold spring. I know our sales were down this spring then too. So I know our sales of fuel have gone up with over the last couple months here too with the nicer weather. Even recently, our sales have climbed considerably day by day. So I'm hoping by the next quarter report, we have some better numbers on our fuel sales. As far as planes coming in and out, I had a discussion with Doug Nielsen, and that's part of my report here too, is that he can look up the tail numbers when they come in while he's out there and check where they're flying from. And he's noticing a lot of planes coming from other airports farther away, upper Wisconsin, a lot from Illinois coming in here, just as far as the recreational part. They are seeing the numbers that we have some good fuel prices. I think our reputation has become a little more an easier place to fly into. I've heard from a number of pilots that this is a much easier place to land and get fuel than compared to Burlington, which is our next biggest competitor. So I'm hoping that keeps numbers going up as far as the fuel sales. So, like I said, we'll just keep an eye on that, and we've been our fuel prices are the same as Burlington. So, like I said, it's kind of an ongoing battle between the two of us, which we're both making money at it. So at least they're not trying to cut each other's throat that way. So it makes it we're both being productive, I guess, if nothing else. So. With regards to what Jason was saying about the brush attachment for the tractor, we have used it at the airport too, and I just got the chance to try it out, and I think it would be a nice addition to that also because it's for clearing fences line. I've been clearing fences by hand, little by little, and it's an ongoing thing. And with this, there's plenty of spots that we can work with it, and I think it would be a very useful tool for the airport. So. Other than that, just general maintenance, and like I said in the report, the grass is finally starting to slow down, so I'm grateful for that. So it looks really nice if you want to go by. Any questions?
As far as the skydivers, that club, are they as busy as they were last year, or are they slower?
They're slower. They have two things going on. Last year, they lost that big jumper plane they had where they could get multiple people on the thing. They used a lot of our jet fuel with that. And that is, they're renting one from Chicago. They have certain weekends they use it, which we can tell. They buy, I think the last time they used it, they bought 300 and some gallons of fuel from us. Then when they don't buy it, there's a few other planes out there that use jet fuel that we sell, I think it's a couple hundred gallons here and there. But they have also a small jump plane, which has been out of service for the better part of the summer because of engine problems. And it looks like it's getting ready to get back up in the air, but they're running at the end of the season here too. So yeah, they're definitely a lot slower than they have been in the past. So.
Hard to skydive when you don't have the plane.
Yeah, they don't like to jump about off a step ladder, so,
I heard they have indoor skydiving.
yes.
Other questions for Doug? Well, thanks for the continued great work.
Yeah.
All right, item 4, August financial report. Any questions for Eileen? All right, item 5, update to 2026 budget schedule. Eileen, you want to walk us through that?
So tonight we were going to, according to the budget schedule that was approved, be doing our initial review of that operations budget with Ellers. They reached out to me and suggested we postpone that to October 6th because we had that market update for assessments this year. Our assessment roll hasn't been finalized, which means we don't have a statement of assessment. Basically, your statement assessment will give you your full assessed value for the village. And we take that full tax levy and divide it by the full assessed value, and that gives you your tax rate, otherwise referred to as the mill rate. So it's a much more effective discussion with the board when we talk about the operations budget to be able to project those tax rates as well. So he suggested postponing it, which I thought was actually a really good idea because the way that our public hearing falls this year, it is a little later. With that Thanksgiving week and everything falling a little later this year, it would give us a little more time if we wait till October 6th and then have another discussion on October 20th if necessary to get more information on what we're seeing as trends for wages. A lot of times I use the Cottingham Butler, previously Carlson Detman, who does our salary studies. I wait for a survey that they do of employers just to see what they're projecting for increases as well. We haven't received that yet, but anticipate to receive that soon, and I should have a better idea of health insurance rates. So I think it'll be a more effective discussion, and it won't delay any of the other aspects of our schedule.
All right. Item number 5, item 6, July 2025 Fire and Rescue Report. Scott is not here, but does anybody have any questions on that? We will have an update. Tri-Troy board meeting is next Tuesday. We'll have an update about Troy Center and the East Troy Department. All right, on to committee reports. Items 1 and 2, Booth Lake Memorial Park minutes from June 18th and July 16th. Joe, anything you want to highlight there?
Just that it was a slow season, so similar to what the airport, I think we had less participation, just cold, rainy season, so. And we get the budget meeting on Wednesday of this week, so talk about the CapEx that we're going to be requesting for siding and redoing the house.
Do you have projections on what that CapEx will be that you could send me?
What?
Do you have projections on what that CapEx request would be that you can send me?
Can we wait till Wednesday, Thursday, or do you want to know?
If you have it, you don't have to give it to me in the meeting, if you just
Yeah,
email it
like
to me.
tomorrow or-
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I can do
you.
that, yeah.
She's going to check, she's going to reconcile it to the penny, make sure you're right.
Yeah, no.
All right, any questions for Joe? All right, item 3, Park and Rec minutes from April 14th. I was going to say Dan, but I don't think that was, not you yet. All right, any questions, I guess, Jason, or to take back to Vicki? All right, Plan Commission draft minutes from September 8th, last week. Any questions for me or Brian? All right, library board minutes from July 8th. We have our library director here if you have any questions. Mary, anything there we want to highlight?
There will be a presentation at the Tri-Troy regarding the work that's being done with the HGA some conceptual plans, so, and some background will be given too. Yeah. And they had a busy summer with all kinds of programs. Yes. And a huge party. Mhm. But thanks for all of that, Tammy.
Another great summer reading. We took advantage of that for sure. All right, item 6, Airport Advisory Committee minutes from August 11th. Any questions for Jim or Doug, since he's still here? Any of you guys? Doug's not already highlighted anything? All right. Items 7 and 8 are also Emergency Services District Board minutes from July 24th and the 2026 budget. Questions there? All right. Hearing none, I will move that we go to closed session.
We need to do the preliminary discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, we got to do a preliminary discussion. Okay.
Which I didn't give you any verbiage on it, so I'm going to read this.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah. The board is going into closed session to discuss a letter of intent the village received from an existing business within the village looking to build a new facility in the business park. It is necessary for the board to go into closed session to discuss that, as well as an offer to purchase property and direct staff regarding negotiation strategies and bargaining position.
Thank you. All right, I will move to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 1985-1E to discuss village's bargaining postures and negotiation strategies with respect to preliminary contracts as to possible future TID4 developments and offer to purchase property. Roll call vote, please.
Who seconded it?
Oh, sorry, we need a second.
Second.
Everybody seconds.
President Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Harding?
Here.
Trustee Holm?
Yes.
Trustee Moody?
Yes.
Trustee Wisniewski?